Alrighty, so this is lesson 7-7, multi-step division number stories, and we're on page 245 of the math journal. You're going to be doing problem 1 for your work today. We'll do number 2 together. If you want some extra credit, some extra practice, you can go over to the next page, 246, and do those problems as well. So going back to page 245, we'll look at problem 2. And so for all of them, for each problem, make an estimate and then solve, and then answer the questions. So we need to do the estimate first and solve it, and then answer the questions. So Anna wants to put 72 baseball cards in an album, like those photo albums. They put the baseball cards in them. They have two different kinds of albums, a square album, and they also have the rectangular one, which is also a square. So that's really kind of incorrect language there. But anyway, the square one, the one with equal sides, fits 4 cards per page. And then the one that doesn't have all 4 equal sides, but it's still a rectangle, it's 5 cards per page. So 4 cards per page in the square one, 5 cards per page in the rectangular one. How many more pages, there's those clue words there, will she need to fit all the cards? How many cards? 72. If she uses the square album rather than the rectangular album. So let's take a look at that key information here. Let's use a pen to underline things. So number 1, obviously 72 baseball cards. That's been important. Square album fits 4 cards per page. The rectangular album fits 5 cards per page. And then, of course, the question, which deserves a color of its own, I think, is how many more pages will she need to fit all the cards if she uses the square album instead of the rectangular one? So the estimate. So first off, we could go with an estimate for the square album. And so let's see, 4 and 72. So I'm thinking 4 is kind of close to 5, but 5 is the same as the other one. So maybe let's stick with 4. And instead of making it 72, we'll make it 80 because 4 goes into 80. So let's go with 80 divided by 4. And this is again for the square album. And we'll say that 4 goes into 8 twice, but that's not 8, it's 80. So we know our answer is going to be 20. So this is one estimate for the square album. SQ I'll just write it out, square. Okay. And you know that it's hard to write on here. So then the other one, let's try a different color here. The other one is the rectangular album. And so let's see, the rectangular album has 5 cards per page. Still the same number, 72 cards to start off with, but let's see, let's think of 5 and let's make it 70, round it off to 70, because you know that 5 can go into it evenly. I don't know how many times yet because I haven't thought about it, but 5 will go into 70. I know it'll go to more than 10 times because 10 times 5 is 50. Let's see, if I go 12 times 5 is 10 more, so that would be 60. So it must be 14. 14 times 5 must equal 70. And so that's for the rectangle. So what we're seeing here is that the square album, it will take about 20 pages, and the rectangular album will take about 14. So how many more Well, that's that clue terminology. How many more usually means subtract. So how many more cards will she need to fit? How many more pages will she need to fit all the cards if she uses a square album rather than rectangular? So it's obviously going to be 20 minus 14, which of course is 6. So she'll need 6 more pages is our estimate. So let's go ahead and solve and get the exact answer now. So we're going to have to do 72 cards for both of them, for both problems, but we've got a square album, which fits 4 cards per page, and a rectangular, which fits 5. So we're going to do 72 divided by 4, and then we'll do 72 divided by 5. So I'm going to go off to the side here and do that because I don't have a whole lot of space to write with down here. So I'm just going to go off to the side. 72 divided by 4. Okay, and then we learned how to do partial quotients. So we're just going to multiply, put some numbers over here and multiply. So I like to start with 10 just because it's easy to do 10 times 4, easy to do 10 times anything, which of course equals 40. Now we can do some subtraction. 72 minus 2 minus 0, 2. 70 minus 40 is 30. Now, 4 into 32. Is there any number that, just multiply it by 4 equals 32? You can always check your math journal front pages or remember your times tables, and it's obviously going to be 8. So 8 times 4 exactly equals 32. And so we can figure out that when we add those two up, that it's going to take 18 pages for if we use the square album. 18 pages for square. Now let's do the rectangular. For the rectangular, I chose a different color, and I'll do it up here, up at the top. So let's go ahead and do 72 again. So 72, but it's going to be divided by 5 because the rectangular fits 5 cards per page. All right, same old method. Hopefully I have enough room, don't run out of space. So 5, I'm going to go with 10 again. 5 times 10, 50. We love those 10s. And we do our subtraction, and we get 22. What times 5 is close to 20? Well, 4. 4 times 5 is 20. It's actually close to 22. Okay, and we have a remainder here that we can't get 5 into, so we know our answer is going to be 14 pages, but we're going to have a couple cards left over. So they're not all going to fit on 14 pages. It's 14 remainder 2. That's 2 extra cards there. So we're going to actually need 15 pages. I wonder if the problem's going to ask us about that. Okay, so let's go take a look. I have to scroll down, and it's going to throw off all the writing here, but that's the way it goes. So if I just scroll down here, I'm going to erase a little bit right here. The square album takes how many more pages than the rectangular album? Well, 18 compared to 15. And this is the one we did up here was the rectangular, and the bluish one was kind of the square. So the square one takes 18 minus 5 is 3. So it takes 3 more pages. And then it says, what do you do with the remainder? Any remainders you found? Well, you have to put them on a page. So you need an extra page. You need one more page than our answer of 14. We needed 15 pages because we had 2 extra cards. you place them on another page. You place these cards. Oh boy, there goes the ink. Okay. Wow, it does the same thing on, oh no, there it goes. You place them on a page. These are the remainders. The remainders are cards, remaining cards. And that's it. All right. Let's try. Now you try number one.